We all have different mouths, some with unique teeth, gums, extra teeth, extra stuff. I had some people send some pictures to me in all of their wonderful, sometimes stomach-wrenching glory, and I'm gonna show you all of them. Okay, so this first one. We got braces, we got puffy gums. Probably one of the biggest things I wanna highlight that's just very obvious is the red puffy gums, particularly right in between the center teeth. If you've got braces on or red puffy gums, particularly could mean bad hygiene. When you've got bad hygiene, your food is stuck around the brackets and then your gums get puffy and the food gets stuck underneath the gums more. It's like this vicious cycle. If you have puffy gums, cavities, spots, we're gonna talk about those. And then bone loss, which is definitely not good because you get enough bone loss and your teeth fall out. Second thing is when you're putting brackets on, bracket breaks off, trying to put the bracket back on when you've got puffy gums there can make it really tricky. If this was you and I was in charge, I would say, okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna rinse and brush really well. Mom and dad, you've got to be involved, and if you're an adult, you gotta get in control of your life here. Get in control of your teeth. Brush, rinse really well. Give it maybe a couple weeks to see if you can see an improvement. Second, if we're not seeing improvement, we might need extra help. That means you gotta take the wires out, you gotta go see the dentist, maybe prescribe some sort of to help keep things clean. Worst case scenario, unfortunately, you're talking about taking off your braces, teeth might move, waste a little money, a little bit of time, no bueno. Now, there are other reasons why you can get puffy tissue, not just bad hygiene. It could be associated with medication, hormones, or certain medical conditions like leukemia, lymphoma. Okay, picture number 2. Yikes. These are called white spot lesions. You definitely don't want these. You got pretty straight teeth and then bam, white spots. You're like, well, my teeth, aren't they supposed to be white? These are a different kind of white. It's like an off-color white. I'm so glad to get to show you this because kiddos and parents, you need to know this. If you guys have braces and you don't take care of your teeth, this is a great example of what your teeth could end up like. Some people get white spots on their teeth because it's developmental. That means some part of the cellular process when the enamel was forming didn't form the exact same way. But this is a particular look, right? It's got the bracket ortho stain. You've been in the braces for a long time and you didn't take care of your teeth, and so you get somewhat of a square, right? You can kind of see a square outline there, and then you get the white bands along the gum tissue up high or down low, where it's very easy to have food stay stuck or get stuck and you don't clean underneath there. Again, this is another reason why parents, you probably need to be on top of the kiddos more. That means you gotta check their teeth, even your teenage kids. Because you don't want these spots. You don't want these spots. It costs extra money at the dentist to get them fixed. Or the money that you spent for the braces, like 90% avoidable. A huge majority of these cases can be avoidable if you just spend the time taking care of your teeth. Really hard to get rid of. Sometimes the spit, the saliva can help make the discoloration not so offset from your natural tooth color. So that's why maybe you don't do the whitening right away after you get your braces off, but you could consider whitening or some resin fillings, veneers, things like that. You'll notice here, right, up on the top right, the patient's left, got the lateral incisor. This ended up forming an actual cavity. These spots are baby cavities. Sometimes, in some cases, if you let it go long enough, it can lead to actual cavities. Not good. Oh, and don't just go, dumping a bunch of fluoride on this. Yes, it'll strengthen the tooth, but it won't help with the discoloration necessarily. It might make it harder to get rid of. For this next third picture, this is a great one. First observation is that we are crowded and we've got braces on. And we got a little chipped tooth right on that front tooth on the patient's right, so the lower left, central left. Okay, they look like they're self-ligating brackets, which is like a Damon bracket. Don't let anybody sell you, moms and dads, okay? Don't let your orthodontist or even dentist sell you on these special brackets that make your treatment go that much faster or make it so it's not as painful or get you way better results. The research, it's just not there. You can get great results with many different kinds of brackets. You just need to be comfortable with the provider and know that they do good work and will take care of you as you go through like hard things like this. So that's like a huge take home. Don't get sold on
you've got to do this or you are in deep trouble.
Or you've got to do this because there is no other way. Watch out for the bogus claims, all right? Watch out. Good orthodontists know that there is a limit to the amount of jawbone that you have. Teeth can only go so far before they reach those limits. We've had other videos with appliances that maybe dentists, other providers are pushing and marketing, and they go beyond the limits of what the normal bone allows, and you end up with serious problems. Maybe you lose your teeth. Not good. Okay, number 4. There is a lot of crowding, but there are 2 giant pink things in there that are a little lobule. Those are called tori. They can be on the inside, outside, and it's extra bone deposits. It's thought to be associated with squeezing so much. You can get these removed surgically if you need. They're not necessarily. Don't believe any of these claims that you can drink some celery juice or pour some lemon juice on it and it'll go away. If you want to know more about true orthodontic claims related to straight teeth and beautiful bites, just what's going on or what to expect, subscribe to the channel. Come find me in my office so that I can open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth. Okay, number 5. For those of you who are out there with braces, expanders, all sorts of orthodontic appliances, different orthodontic treatment plans, or if you're getting ready to go in, you're gonna wanna see these pictures. This one is a picture of a retainer. Yes, a permanent retainer. We don't really call them permanent all the time. They get glued in, but they can come out. This is a special kind of bonnet retainer. It's a bar, thick bar, and it's glued on the canine and the canine. It's not connected to the front 4 teeth. This is an important take home, right? Just because you're getting a permanent retainer doesn't mean that it's hooked onto each tooth. And if it's not hooked onto each tooth, it may not hold each tooth straight. It keeps those teeth from coming back like this, which can be a significant source of future crowding. It can help with that. But if you want your teeth to stay really, really straight, you probably have to connect on each tooth. Here we go again. We've got those giant lingual tori that are taking up a ton of space. But you also notice this is an extraction case, right? We're missing 2 premolars. Don't worry though, in my opinion, there's still plenty of space. And if you get rid of those tori, you're gonna have lots of space. One thing that I will note, whenever you take out teeth or if you have spaces to begin with, if you don't have some sort of retainer that goes over all the teeth to try and keep them together, then you may end up with spaces that open up, like an extraction space. This retainer right here, it's only connected to the canine, so anything behind that is gonna do what it wants to do. Watch out for the specific kind of permanent retainer if you want all of your teeth to stay exactly where they're at. And if you have extractions or spaces, you might wanna consider something else, some other kind of. This next one, picture number 7. This is very, 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 very bad, okay? Huge take home coming up, listen to this. This is the number 1 most important thing for your oral health. It may not be the coolest, it may not be the most trendiest, but it's the simplest. And if you're hoping I'm gonna say, go outside and get some bark from your tree and chew on it, drink some magic well water from the top of a high mountain, that's not what I'm gonna say. The number 1 most important thing for oral health is brushing your teeth. Watching out for the really sugary and acidic foods. Not that you can't eat those or drink those, but if you're pounding those all the time and you're keeping your teeth in a continuous acidic state, you are asking for cavities. You can see the tartar, the plaque, that's what it is, plaque that's hardened over time. You've let it sit there and it's caked up, it's become hard, so now a toothbrush is hard to get it off. You gotta go to your dentist and you gotta scale it off. That costs more money. You don't have to be uber rich to have healthy teeth. You just need a toothbrush and to be consistent. You definitely don't want to straighten your teeth with a mouth like this. This is kind of grody. Who wants to be kissing a mouth like this? Seriously, you don't want to be swapping spit with this. Feel bad for this. You never know exactly what's happening, but there is a ton of, right? So we're being considerate here. There is a ton of avoidable issues if you just brush your teeth. Watch what you eat. Okay, the last 2. Different than the self-ligating brackets, you have to have these little color ties, elastics that go over the brackets to keep the wire in place. If you don't have the wire in place, then the brackets aren't gonna do anything. You can see the gums are starting to get puffy. They're starting to fill into the space and grow. In this case, again, more than likely, it's an overgrowth issue associated with poor hygiene, and you could avoid it. You can see too how it would be really hard to see the white spots that are developing because the gums get so big and you can't tell until the gums go down and then you see the white spots. Don't waste money. Brush your teeth really well. Okay, the final photo, I want to spend a second on this one. Can you guess it? Headgear. How many of you have had headgear before? I know there's some of you out there that have spent years in the headgear. Maybe some of you now still do headgear because it's not a lost appliance. Did you wear it during school? And any of you out there who have actually worn this or had their orthodontist tied it into place, right? So you couldn't take the headgear out. Leave a comment below, I'd love to know what it was like. Headgear was the gold standard and in some ways is still referenced many times in the research, in the literature. It's hard to get kiddos to wear headgear during the day. So if you're getting the option of wearing headgear, just know this. The headgear is a removable appliance and the only way that it works is if you wear it effectively. If you don't wear these things, you're just not gonna get the same effects. You hook onto the teeth, apply force from the back of your head, either up here or down here on your neck, different reasons to do that. And it either pushes the teeth back or it tries to minimize the forward growth, the downward growth of the upper jawbone. You can help move some of the teeth up in the back to help close open bites. So we're talking about overbite correction, we're talking about open bite correction, we're talking about creating more space by pushing the top teeth back. We don't use the headgear in our office, we use the herps because it's glued in and it's in the mouth Kiddos don't have to worry about it too much being seen, and it stays in all the time. But there's a fuss about this going on around the internet that somehow headgear or pulling teeth back causes or is the primary cause of airway problems. I am on the side of it doesn't. When you use headgear, we're talking about very minimal, if any, movement to the upper jawbone pushing back when you use this. Very minimal changes, not a big issue. And then when you pull your teeth back, that also hasn't been shown in any sort of repeatable, peer-reviewed, generally accepted research. The American Association of Orthodontics has out a white paper on this. The current evidence suggests that we are safe in this procedure if you need it. In fact, this is a side note, for those of you who have impacted canines, check out our other videos. You might have an impacted canine. Sometimes headgear plus taking out canines or doing an expander can also help improve the predictability of getting those permanent teeth in place by themselves while they're growing. The key is compliance with the headgear. So is somebody gonna walk around wearing this device? And if you're not going to, then maybe you need to talk to your provider and think of some other options. There's just different techniques, different preferences. Find somebody that works for you. Share your own pictures or ask questions below if you want to know my thoughts about dental ortho related issues. And of course, always, come find us. Just a little PF on so you know where you're going. Packard out.